Hey guys, on today's episode, Marvel takes one last swing at Avatar. The Last of Us 2 gets a release date, maybe, hopefully, and my Toy Story 4 preview review here on the Golden Age Gamer podcast. Hey guys, I'm Andrew. I'm your host of the Golden Age Gamer podcast. Today we got a lot of news for you, and as you can tell, what's behind me is not our usual decor, what you saw in last week's episode. I am on the road right now. We're on our way back to Oklahoma. Spent the week in Disney World. I got some fun stuff, some videos that we're going to do that I'll kind of piece together over the course of the weekend and drop throughout the week this week. First, I want to apologize being on the road and down here in the south, my allergies are bad. So I don't know if you can tell on camera, but my lips are swollen, my cheeks are swollen. So if I'm a little slurred sometimes on what I'm saying, then you kind of know why. But I wanted to make sure, especially since we only have one episode up. Episode 2 came to you on time this week, Saturday by noon. So just bear with me a little bit. But a couple of the topics that we got today. First of all, Marvel is going to bring a post-credit scene to Avengers Endgame. Um, we saw the news. There's a lot of news going out there about what's it going to be a re-release, what's it going to be an extended cut, and Kevin Feige went on record to say that it's going to be a post-credit scene that will include a deleted scene, a tribute, and a couple of fun surprises. So we can speculate all day of what we think that is. I have my theories, of course. But hopefully, the tribute will be to Stan Lee. I think that would be a nice little touch. But the big question is, Endgame is still in theaters right now. I think everyone in the world has seen it already. But is it worth another ticket price to be able to go back out and watch it again for a post-credit scene or a deleted scene? Especially one that you're probably going to get whenever you get the Blu-ray that will probably drop here in a few months. So that's kind of the real question for me. I'm a little bit of a sucker, so yeah, I'm going to go out. I'm going to go ahead and go see Endgame again. I want to see what that post-credit scene is. But real question is it worth it to the masses? And so, why are they doing this? Why are they putting a post-credit scene out now, month and a half, 2 months after the movie is released? Avatar. They want that number one box office spot. And with Disney, it's funny because they actually own both franchises for Marvel and for Avatar. But yeah, I definitely think that's what they're doing. They're taking a swing at Avatar. They're about 40 million short of that record. And without this extra, post credit scene, I don't think they would have got there. So it'll be interesting to see if this kind of puts them over the hump. They're definitely going to have my $10, $15 for the movie ticket. There's no doubt about that. But, that's still a lot short of $40 million. So it'll be interesting to see if the fan base and the masses come out to see what Marvel's going to put at the end of Endgame. And so really, again, is $15 worth the 3 hour stay through the movie and a short deleted scene that they're going to put at the end? And my guess would say that Marvel is going to understand that people spend a lot of money. I mean, they've already spent $2.7 billion going to go see this movie. That they're not going to just go put their money forth just for for anything. So I think the scene will probably set up pretty well. I think again, we can speculate all day. My guess is that it's going to lead more towards what we're going to see in some of the Disney Plus shows. So, for example, we have no idea how Vision's going to come back yet. I could see that being a deleted scene for the movie. You also kind of have some loose ends to tie up with Gamora. What happened to her at the end game? Where did she go? And then you also have to talk about Loki. I mean, the Loki show will probably be the biggest show that Disney Plus is going to have on their streaming service when it launches. So maybe we get a glimpse and to see what Loki's doing. So it'll be pretty interesting. I can't wait to kind of see what that deleted scene is going to be. And of course, I'll shy away from spoilers, but we will talk about it a little bit on one of the upcoming podcasts. So excuse me, guys, we'll take a drink of water. Also, this week, news dropped that Hunger Games was working on a prequel Should take place during Hunger Games 10, I believe is what they said. I'm not a huge Hunger Games fan. I mean, I like the franchise; they're good movies. I think really, for me, again, I'm just not a big Jennifer Lawrence fan, so I think that really had a lot to do with me not really caring for the movies. But I like just the world that they built. I think it's interesting, kind of that post-apocalyptic style world. I love post-apocalyptic movies, so it'll be really interesting to kind of see what came around and why the Hunger Games were created, and really kind of see that world. So that might be something that you're interested in if you are interested in the Hunger Games franchise. Earlier this week as well, IMDb and Universal announced that they're going to have a ad um, streaming service. So they're going to put all their content out for free. You don't have to pay to subscribe to it. But in return, they're going to have commercials and advertisements in the shows and in the movies and things like that. So my question, is really how is this going to affect the Amazon Primes, the Netflix, the Hulus of the world? And is a streaming service that is going to offer its service for free, but in replacement for ads, is that going to cause Netflix to want to have an ad-based subscription service to where you pay less money up front, but you do have to go with commercials and things like that? Personally, you have a streaming service for just about everything: Netflix, Hulu, Amazon Prime. You have the DC streaming service. You're going to have Disney Plus come out. You have HBO. I mean, there's just so many different streaming services that honestly, once you start adding up the prices, it starts getting a little bit out of hand. So it'll be interesting to see if Universal, obviously they're obviously a big name in movies, if what they have under their umbrella is going to be you know really impactful as far as the streaming services go. You got places like Netflix. When Disney Plus comes out, a lot of Netflix content it's going to be taken away because you're talking about with Disney buying out Fox. Anything that Fox has done is going to be under that Disney umbrella. It's going to be on Disney Plus. So I've got to imagine that Netflix is going to lose quite a bit of their content. And obviously, they pump out content of their own, and a lot of their shows are great. Stranger Things, for example, I love Stranger Things, but some of their movies are a little bit hit and miss. So it'll be interesting to kind of see what kind of impact that has on Netflix. But I do think that in today's world, if you can get anything for free, it's certainly not a bad thing. But the whole reason why we went to streaming services, the whole reason why we were cable cutters, the whole reason why you live in it, out of your DVR when you're watching shows, is so you can skip commercials, so you can skip advertisements. So if that content is given to you for free, are you willing to put up with a couple of commercials? That would be kind of interesting to see what impact Universal will have on the rest of the streaming services world. So, if you saw this week interview with Jason Momoa, he was asked a question as far as the X-Men universe, what character he would love to be able to play in the Marvel universe, X-Men universe, and he answered back Wolverine. Um, the internet went crazy about Jason Momoa's going to be our next Wolverine, and when I saw the news, I had to read the article to make sure that I didn't miss anything. He was asked the question. He was asked, "What character would you like to play?" So actor A was asked, "Hey, would you like to have a part in our movie, or would you like to be able to play a certain character in a movie for work?" Yeah, of course, he's an actor. Of course, he's going to want to work. And he answered Wolverine. And, on the surface, that sounds like a good casting. But, honestly, I don't see him as Wolverine. I really don't. I mean, there were pictures floating around. There was actually one, Boss Logic on Instagram puts together a lot of graphic images, a lot of fan-made movie posters and things like that. He had one of Jason Momoa as Sabretooth, and I thought that was pretty cool. It looked really interesting. I think that probably fits him a little bit better than Wolverine. Obviously, Hugh Jackman was so iconic in that role. But when you look at what Wolverine was in the comics versus what he was in the movie, I mean, Hugh Jackman wasn't the kind of character that should have been playing Wolverine. He was too tall. Really, honestly, didn't quite look like the character. And Jason Momoa, the same. I mean, yeah, you have the grizzly beard, but he's way too tall for the character if you're going to portray what's in the comics. So, depending on what kind of Wolverine they really want to bring us, what kind of Wolverine Marvel wants us to have, I don't know if Jason Momoa is necessarily the right choice. But here's the thing: I don't have a better choice. So we maybe you do. Maybe there's an actor out there that you would really like to have play Wolverine that you think would be a great fit. I'm always let's get the best actor for the movie and let it all um, work out how it will, and we'll kind of see what comes of it. I mean, there are some actors, especially in these superhero movies, that you just know are the actors for it. So like Patrick Stewart for Professor X in the original X-Men movies. But when you look at like some of the characters in the MCU, Tony Stark, Robert Downey Jr. He really brought to life that character, and I mean, Tony Stark in the comics was a playboy. He was a sarcastic, individual. He was an asshole, but Robert Downey Jr. really kind of ingrained who he was and his personality into that character, and it really worked out. So maybe Jason Momoa, if he wasn't given a shot to it, maybe he would have that same opportunity to be able to bring something new to that character. But when I saw that, again, it's just he was answering a question of who he would like to play. So there's certainly no, at least right now, no news of him being casted as Wolverine, and there's not going to be. There's going to be a long time before Marvel brings us any kind of news for the X-Men world. But when I saw it, just I don't know, I wasn't too excited about it. But maybe you are. Hopefully you are. But when it comes to that X-Men franchise. A lot of speculation too about what Marvel's going to do when they reboot that franchise. And I will tell you this: I know there are some great characters: Gambit, Wolverine, Rogue. I mean, those are some of the more iconic X-Men characters that I would love to see on the big screen, and how Marvel would do it right away. But I would love for Marvel and I think that because they're so aware, self-aware of their brand and what the fans want, and hopefully, I speak for the masses here because it's definitely something that I would really want. I want Marvel to come out, and when they do this first X-Men movie, I want it to be a team movie. I don't want to see individual movies bringing the X-Men team together. I want to see an X-Men movie, but I want to see it with the original X-Men. I want to see it with Professor X. I want to see it with Cyclops, Jean Grey, Beast, Angel, and Iceman. I want that core group of X-Men that you saw whenever X-Men first came out in the comics. I want that as my X-Men for the reboot. And I don't even think you really need to have. I mean, cast Magneto, give us an idea of who he's going to be, or maybe you throw in a post-credit scene. But I don't need Magneto to be my villain right away either. I don't need him to be my big bad. I actually think going a route maybe like with the Sentinel program with Trask, I think that would be a great way to be able to start that franchise. Give us a new take of what we kind of saw in Days of Future Past for the Fox franchise. But give us a look into what that world is like with mutants and with the Sentinel program. And then you set Sentinels up for future movies. Then they become kind of canon fodder after that, but they'll be always there in that world. You're building it right away on what you're going to get with the X-Men universe. I think that would be a lot of fun. I think that's the route that they should go. And don't just drop everything we want to see in that first movie. Build up that suspense. And that's what Marvel did throughout the course of the last 10 years, 22 movies. Hell, Captain America didn't even say Avengers Assemble until we got to Endgame. So they definitely love to build up the suspense. Magneto is my all-time favorite Marvel villain. To me, I think he is the most menacing. I think he is the most dangerous villain that Marvel has because he believes what he's doing is the right thing. He believes what he's doing for the mutant race, and yeah, he believes that mutants should have the next stage of evolution, and they should have control over the world, and that's his passion. That's what he believes. That's his core. And so when you get a villain who, with it's not just a let me take over the world because I want power. he believes he's doing this for the masses. He believes he's doing it for his people, and that makes that character super intriguing. So, Disney, I doubt if you're listening, but in the small chance that you are, consider bringing us the original X-Men, the Cyclops, Jean Grey, Angel, Iceman, Beast. I don't need the Dark Phoenix saga yet. I don't need the epic apocalypse storyline from the comics. However, I will say this: biggest thing I was disappointed with Apocalypse with the Fox franchise was that we didn't have a drag down knockout fight between Magneto and Apocalypse like we did in the comics. Like that, I would love to see that. So, but give us that way down the road. Like don't just give us everything right up front. Let's build the suspense. Let's build that world. Because the X-Men universe is probably my favorite universe in the comics. I mean, I love the Avengers. Spider-Man's one of my favorite all-time characters. But there's just something special about that X-Men universe. So hopefully, fingers crossed, Marvel will do it the right way. At least, my way. But hopefully it'll turn out well. So, um, excuse me, guys. So earlier this week too, I saw on Instagram, Sports Center, out of all places where I saw it, the Space Jam 2 casting. I guess it's basketball players who've been announced to play roles in Space Jam 2. So first of all, obviously LeBron James was casted as the lead. That's been news that's been out there for a while, and there's been speculation on who is going to be in the movie with him. And a couple of months ago, I think it was reported that he was having trouble finding athletes to be able to star in the movie with him. And what's interesting about that is when you look at the original Space Jam, you had some of the best basketball players to ever live in that movie. You had Patrick Ewing, you had Charles Barkley, and they were okay with saying, hey, you know what? I'll admit that I'm not the best player in the world, because you had Michael Jordan as the lead of the movie. You knew Michael Jordan was by far the best player in the world. And in my opinion, and I think most people's best player that ever lived, ever played the game. I don't think you have that with LeBron. You have a lot of egos in the NBA. So what a surprise that some of the Kevin Durant's of the world, the Steph Currys, the Iguodala's that Agatupo, that they didn't want to be in the movie with them. And so when I saw the clip from Sports Center, the first name on the list was Anthony Davis. So surprise, surprise. His buddy that he got from New Orleans a couple weeks ago in that epic trade is going to be in a movie with him. You also had Klay Thompson, which I thought was pretty interesting. But here's the thing: when he was announced or whenever he was casted at the role, I had to assume it was before his injury in the NBA Finals. So maybe he's in, maybe he's out. I don't know when they're going to start shooting the film. Maybe they don't need him for a whole awful lot. But I've got to assume you're going to see him play. So maybe in the movie, but maybe they use some footage they already have from recordings of some of the games that that happened last season or whatever. I don't know, but it'll be interesting to see if he's still in it. Diana Taurasi was announced as well, which I think is really exciting. I'm not a huge fan of women's basketball. I'm just not. I'm sorry, but I do think she's phenomenal. I think she's a great player. I loved watching her play. So it would be kind of cool to kind of see her in the movie. And then you also had Damian Lillard, which out of the names on the list, I mean, obviously Anthony Davis, it kind of makes sense. I mean, they're buds. But Damian Lillard, I thought that was pretty interesting because especially in this last playoff run, I mean, guys, I'm from Oklahoma City, and so I know firsthand just how good he is. I watched it as they whooped up on the Thunder this last year, so it'll be interesting to see if he's still in it. I mean, he was casted, but kind of see what they're going to do with this movie franchise. I don't know how many people were asking for a Space Jam 2, unless if you're a LeBron James fan. I don't know how. I don't know if it's going to be any good. I don't know if it's it might be. Who knows? It might be better than the original Space Jam, which is kind of blasphemous to say. But the original Space Jam had a special place in my heart. Them doing Space Jam 2, it's not going to take away from anything Space Jam the original movie gave us. However, it just, I don't know. LeBron James. I mean, I know he's considered the best athlete in the world right now. Um, he's a pretty good actor, if I'm being honest. He's been in a couple movies already. He's always played himself, and so this will be pretty good because he'll play LeBron James in this movie. But I just don't know if we needed it. I don't. Well, we'll see. We'll see how it comes out. But some casting news there. The Last of Us Part Two. IGN reported that it is targeting a February 2020 release date. So we're still looking at about 8, 9, 10 months away. But it's nice to know that they're already targeting a release date. It's going to be in early February. Um, I don't know if that's a great release date. I would have thought they would have wanted to get it out before Christmas. But maybe they need some more time to work on it. But if you've seen any of the trailers that have come out, anything that came out in E3 about The Last of Us 2, this game looks absolutely amazing. I can't be more excited about it. The Last of Us is my all-time favorite game. So The Last of Us 2, it looks like it's going to be phenomenal. And so it sucks that I got to wait another 8 months or so, but hopefully, fingers crossed, this is going to be just as epic and just as great of a game as the first one. If you haven't played The Last of Us, I don't know what you're waiting on. Like, maybe you're an Xbox only guy. Go out and buy yourself a PS4. Whatever you need to do. The Last of Us is a great game. And if you haven't played it or if you can't play it, go on YouTube. They've put together all like the cutscenes of the movie, so you'll get an idea of what the storyline is going to be. You'll get an idea of what kind of what that world is, and you kind of still enjoy the story that you get with The Last of Us. Because man, this is such a good game. I mean, just all the way around. So will Part 2 live up to Part 1? Hopefully, fingers crossed. Like I'm certainly hoping. But be looking at that February 2020 release date. Because that's where IGN has reported they're targeting, and man, I really hope, fingers crossed, it comes out sooner. But at least for right now, we got that to look forward to. So speaking of PlayStation, PlayStation 5 has released is going to launch, and released a list of games that they're going to launch with, and a couple interesting titles here. Now, full disclosure, I tried to go through and find something like to 100% confirm this story, but I found a couple articles, but it wasn't from some websites that I just knew was going to be a lock, like IGN. So this might be a little bit of speculation, but we all love to speculate, right? So PlayStation 5 is set to release with the following titles: Assassin's Creed Valhalla. Are you kidding me? If you haven't played Assassin's Creed Odyssey, it's a phenomenal game. Oh my gosh, it is such a great game. And so I have no idea what they're going to do with this one. I haven't seen anything, any kind of no posters, no trailers, no whatever of Assassin's Creed Valhalla. But you put Valhalla with Assassin's Creed, like that just sounds like it's going to be a great game. Call of Duty Black Ops 5. I'm not a Call of Duty fan. First person shooters, I'm horrible at. I'm so bad I can't enjoy the game. And so that's not a title for me, but I know there's going to be a lot of people excited about it. Gran Turismo 7. I love the Gran Turismo franchise. I mean, it's probably the best racing game franchise of all time. So that's going to be exciting to kind of see what they do, especially because I'm sure the PlayStation 5 will be playing in 4K. A Harry Potter game is set to release with PlayStation 5, which will be kind of cool. The Last of Us 2 remastered. That'll be kind of cool to see. The Last of Us remastered from the PlayStation 3 to PlayStation 4. I didn't see much of a difference, but PlayStation 5 is supposed to be with 4K, so we'll see what we get with the Last of Us Part 2 when it releases next year, and then we'll kind of see what we get with the remastered version for PS5. But here's the biggest name that wasn't on the list, and I was kind of shocked to see. No announcement yet for Grand Theft Auto 6, at least coming out for PlayStation. Grand Theft Auto 5 I thought was the best of the Grand Theft Auto franchises. I remember playing Grand Theft Auto when I was in high school, and I remember a lot of parents being concerned, about the violence and the killing and all that kind of stuff. And here we are, 10, 15, years later, and Grand Theft Auto 5 comes out. It's probably the bloodiest and crudest game of the franchise, but man, it was great. It really was. I had a lot of fun. It's just one of those games that you can put into the Xbox or the PlayStation and just play for hours for just kind of mindless entertainment. And sometimes you just need that. I'm in management for my professional career, and you deal with so much stress throughout the day that sometimes you just need to be able to go home, throw in Grand Theft Auto, and just kind of block out the rest of the world for a little bit. So hopefully the storyline, whenever we do get a Grand Theft Auto 6, hopefully the storyline will be great. This last one was phenomenal. But it'll be interesting to see when we're going to get that, because it wasn't on the list of games that the PS5 was going to launch with. And I was a little disappointed, it really was. But we'll kind of see what we get. Mobile gaming, I downloaded. Excuse me, I downloaded the new Harry Potter Wizards Unite game. It's a Pokemon Go style game for the world of Harry Potter. I liked the Harry Potter movies. I did. Fantastic Beasts was okay. I hadn't seen the new Fantastic Beasts movie that just came out here recently. But the Harry Potter franchise, I had never seen a movie until part two of 7 came out. And I binge watched in the week and a half before that release all the Harry Potter movies. And so I kind of got them all in at once. And some of them were great, some of them were okay, some of them were eh. But I think the Harry Potter franchise is a lot of fun. So it'll be interesting to see how this game is. When I get back home to Oklahoma, I'm going to start playing it. I'll give it a good couple weeks, and I'll give you guys a review and let you know what I think about it. So, and then last story on our list, Toy Story 4 releases this weekend. Me and my wife, we have tickets for Toy Story 4 tomorrow morning, actually, at the Warren in Moore, Oklahoma. But when we were in Disney, and if you follow my Instagram at Golden Age Gamer 33, you saw that I got to watch a 17-minute clip from the Toy Story movie this last week, a preview from Toy Story 4, and I gotta tell you, like, the first 30, 40, 50 seconds of the movie, like, you're already crying. At least over this clip that they showed us, like, it was tear jerking. Like, this was on the level of some of Pixar's best. And so, and then the rest of the movie that they showed us, the rest of the 17-minute clip was just great. Like, it was just a lot of fun. And so I'm really looking forward to Toy Story 4. Looking forward to seeing what we get out of the movie and out of the I don't know if it's who knows? If this movie does well, obviously they're probably going to make Toy Story 5. But we thought Toy Story 3 was going to be the end of that franchise, and here they are bringing us a new one. And that 17 minutes, I couldn't put more of a stamp of approval on that 17 minutes that we saw. I think Forky is going to be a fun, funny character. And so in that 17-minute clip, I don't really think this is a spoiler, because I think you kind of see and they hint at it in the trailer, so I won't go into too much detail. But in the 17-minute clip that we saw, you kind of see how Forky is created. You see how how he's kind of put together and has come to life, and just that whole sequence there it's funny, it's cute, it's precious. It makes you honestly, I'm 32 years old. It reminded me of when I was in kindergarten, putting arts and crafts together and things like that. So, it brought back such a nostalgic feel, not only with the Toy Story franchise, but just what it's like to be a kid. And so I'm super looking forward to it. I really am. That 17-minute clip definitely sold me. So, I can't imagine anyone watching this podcast isn't planning on going to see Toy Story 4. But if you were on the fence, I will tell you, 98% I think right now on Rotten Tomatoes. that 17-minute clip was just absolutely amazing. And the trailers, if they haven't sold you yet, give it a shot. Go out and check it out. Especially if you've seen the other three, you've got to see the fourth one. But this looks really good, and I think really the biggest kind of stamp of approval that I can put when throw my wife out there and say that she's not the biggest fan of the Toy Story franchises, which I think is absolutely insane. But this 17-minute clip had her not only crying just like everyone else in the movie, but wanting to see this movie. And so even if you're not a fan of the Toy Story franchise and you're not a fan of that world, I think a lot of people know this is going to be a special movie. So definitely go out and check it out. I know we are. I would say probably Monday or Tuesday, I'll drop my spoiler review for Toy Story 4. So be on the lookout for that this week. Other content, like I said, I'm gonna put out a couple of videos from our trip to Disney World. A lot of fun. It really was great to be able to get away. And so I apologize. Kind of a different setup behind me, obviously being in the hotel room. And the allergies have definitely gotten to me this week. But thank you guys for tuning in and bearing with me here as I kind of push through. Really not feeling quite well this morning. 12 hours away from home right now. Feels like I'm never going to be home, but as soon as I get there, we'll start editing some of the videos together and give you some of the content that we had at Disney World. But guys, I want to thank y'all for your time. Again, we're trying to do something special here, building a community of fans. And so do me a favor, if you haven't already, like the video, hit subscribe, click the share button, and let people know about the Golden Age Gamer podcast. The more and more comfortable I get with this podcast and kind of doing it, the more fun we're going to have. But again, we can't build a community without you. So thank you guys. I appreciate y'all tuning in. And until next time, have a good one.